So as per the syllabus, in the syllabus it was mentioned UJT. So UJT already you have studied in I think EDC, but still we study related to the power electronics. So uni-junction transistor, what is the use actually? So transistor BJT is used for amplification. UJT is never used for the amplifying the weak signal to strong signal. So what is the specialty of uni-junction transistor? UJT in power electronics, you can see on the screen, used to turn on the gate terminal of the SCR. SCR has got anode and cathode as well as the gate. Gate terminal is to turn on the SCR. But how to turn on the gate terminal? To the gate we can give positive supply, we can give AC supply, or we can give the pulse signal. So pulse signal is best suited to turn on the gate terminal of the SCR. That is what why only pulse we see in the second unit. Okay, right. So in power electronics, UJT is used to turn on the SCR by generating square wave or pulse signal, which is called the pulse triggering. So in this subject, we study how UJT generates the pulse signal. If you see, this is the symbol of the UJT, simple construction diagram and circuit. Remember, this is the circuit we are supposed to concentrate in our subject. UJT used as a relaxation oscillator. BJT is used as an amplifier, but UJT is used as a relaxation oscillator. Oscillator is a device or electronic circuit which generates sinusoidal and non-sinusoidal waveforms, but UJT is especially designed to generate the square waveform. How it works, we see with the animation first. So let us say what exactly the UJT, okay? How to manufacture the UJT we discuss. Uni-junction transistor, the theory part will be there. Directly we enter into the construction. So if I want to manufacture one UJT, first we are supposed to take the N-type silicon chip or a silicon wafer or silicon material. So when I speak N-type semiconductor or N-type silicon, N-type means majority charge carriers are electrons, minority charge carriers are holes. So you can ask one question, sir, we know the word intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic semiconductors contain only electrons or only holes, but these intrinsic semiconductors are not used anywhere practically. Only we use extrinsic semiconductors in all the cell phones, in all the electronic circuits. Whatever the green color chip you are going to observe in an electronic circuit, it is extrinsic semiconductor, that too N-type extrinsic semiconductor. So when I say here N-type layer or N-type semiconductor, the complete name is N-type extrinsic semiconductor. You can ask, sir, what is the disadvantage of intrinsic? Intrinsic, what we have studied in the books, intrinsic is the pure form of semiconductor. Pure form means number of holes equal to number of electrons. But if I am using that pure form of semiconductor, intrinsic semiconductor, it takes maximum current to turn on the device. That's why we go for the doping addition of impurities to the existing pure semiconductor. After doping process, the intrinsic semiconductor is converted into extrinsic semiconductor. So now after doping process, any semiconductor chip, if you see, it contains a combination of electrons and holes. Okay, this explanation is very important. If you join any company, they give you one particular silicon chip, they ask you whether it is intrinsic or semi-extrinsic. It is 100% extrinsic. Extrinsic semiconductors has high conductivity, that is they carry maximum current within short period of time. All the industries, we are using the extrinsic N-type semiconductor chip only. Why not P-type? The speed of movement of holes is less when compared with the speed of movement of electrons. If I'm using P-type semiconductor in my smartphone, it takes time to turn on the smartphone. So every smartphone, every laptop, any electronic device, even in the space application, we go for the N-type extrinsic semiconductor. So when I speak N-type semiconductor, majority charge carriers are electrons, minority charge carriers are holes. So semiconductor technology says that what is the definition of current? If it is a conductor, flow of electrons only, but if it is a semiconductor, flow of electrons and holes is called the current in a semiconductor. So now, how to manufacture UJT? UJT is fabricated, formed. UJT is fabricated with the N-type semiconductor, extrinsic semiconductor chip, thin wafer. On this N-type semiconductor, we place or we diffuse, we place or diffuse p-type, small portion of p-type semiconductor. You can say this is n-type silicon bar or n-type silicon chip. So now on this n-type silicon chip, we diffuse or we place a small portion of the p-type extrinsic semiconductor. When I say p-type extrinsic semiconductor, majority are holes, minority are electrons. Now the other two terminals of this n-type, which is again connected, is the copper terminal, we say base 1 and base 2, two ends. So UJT contains n-type extrinsic semiconductor chip on which a small portion of p-type material is diffused, and this p-type material is connected to the terminal. It is called the emitter. So when I use the word emitter in the electronics, emitter is used to create the movement of charge carriers. Now here in UJT, as emitter is connected to the p layer, emitter is used to create the movement of holes from p-type to n-type. So emitter is used to create the movement of holes present inside the p layer to move from p layer to n layer. So now this is the construction of UJT. If I'm having just the UJT, I cannot generate this square waveform. In order to generate this square waveform or pulse waveform, what we have to do? We have to bias the UJT. Now what is the biasing? Application of pure DC signal to the UJT or SCR is called biasing. So this is the symbol. Now we'll have the complete symbol. Now we will concentrate. The most important question is why the arrow mark is like this? Why the arrow mark is having the curved part? If you see holes from the p-type, uh, there is no voice disturbance. No, any student confirm? Any voice is clear or any disturbance is coming? Any one student, you can unmute and you can say no other disturbance, no, in the voice. All 19 participants. Yes, anyone, you unmute, or in the chat box you raise the point. Okay, right. So why the symbol is in a curved position? Because the holes, they try to move from p-type to n layer. So n layer is diagonal to the p-type. Therefore, this is the indication of this particular curved symbol for the UJT. Now, this is the symbol of UJT. So now we are supposed to bias the UJT. So you can see both the terminals are connected to the positive and negative. B1 is connected to negative, B2 is connected to the positive, where VE is the voltage applied to the emitter terminal of the UJT. So what exactly happens here? So when the UJT is properly biased, we see the movement of the charge carriers. UJT has got only one junction, that's why it is called the uni-junction transistor. Electrons always move from base B1 to B2, but movement of electrons does not confirm that UJT is on. Both the holes and electrons should be able to move from one region to another region. So at a time, we have to give the supply to the base terminals and the emitter terminal. So when the emitter is biased, then with the movement of holes from p-type to n-type, the UJT is going to be turned on. Now we see how the UJT is used as an oscillator, how UJT turns on this square waveform. Okay, just we move to the next slide here. So this is what the UJT, the symbol. Why we are having the resistance here? Because the resistance of the B1 is less when compared with the resistance of the B2 region. Therefore, the charge carriers, they move from emitter to which region? B1 region, B1. So that's why the arrow mark is shown towards the B1 region, if you see the symbol of the UJT. So now UJT, this is the basic structure. We study what is the how UJT generates the square waveform or UJT generates the pulse signal. So let us have a look at this one. So it is the UJT acting as relaxation oscillator. Okay, so we'll see the circuit in detail. I hope after just listening the circuit, you will be in a mode to explain that one. Right. Let us have a look at the circuit. So how UJT generates a pulse signal is, this is the circuit. If you see, we got the UJT. Okay, to this UJT, these are the resistors which are mentioned in the green color, the same circuit here. So what circuit you have seen here, the same circuit we are using. So how to explain this circuit? You see, I will look at this corner circuit. When the source is on, okay, VSC, this is the positive terminal, current can enter into both the resistors. So if the current is entering the resistor R2, UJT cannot turn on. When the UJT will be on, UJT is turned on when the small amount of current is entering which terminal? Input terminal, which is called the emitter terminal. So in order to turn on the UJT, even if you are sending 1000 amperes to this B2 terminal R2 resistor, UJT will never turn on. UJT turns on only when small amount of current flows through its input terminal, which is emitter. So when the supply is on, 100% of current flows through this resistor RS, and then it will charge the capacitor. When capacitor is charging, the UJT will be off, and when capacitor is discharging, UJT will be on. When the UJT is on, it generates a pulse signal which is collected across the output terminals. How it works, that animation we see. So our topic is UJT used as a trigger source or UJT acting as a relaxation oscillator. That is our topic. Now, this is the circuit. Right. This is the circuit we got. So now we'll see what is the explanation, how the direction of the current flows. In the animation, current flow is shown. So first we turn on the UJT. Right. Once again, I'm asking, is there any disturbance in the voice? Anyone? Okay, time left is 10 minutes, I think. Right. So how the current flows? You see all the students' animation. So first, when the supply is on, you can see 100% of current flows through this resistor RE, and then it flows through the capacitor. The capacitor is completely charged. When the capacitor is charging, you can see the graph. This is the capacitor charging. After a certain period of time, when the capacitor is completely charged, capacitor starts to discharge. The discharging current enters the UJT, and hence UJT is on. So here, what is the statement? When the supply is turned on, current enters the resistor RE, and then capacitor starts to charge. When capacitor is completely charged, capacitor starts to discharge. Discharging current enters the UJT. So capacitor charging, you can see now capacitor is discharging, UJT is on. So this is a continuous process here. So entire charging and discharging of capacitor generates the triangular waveform, which is again converted to square waveform using clippers and clampers. I repeat this one here. So this is the circuit. When the supply is on, entire current flows through the RE resistor. From the RE resistor, it flows through the capacitor. Then the capacitor starts charging. Once the capacitor is charged completely, then the capacitor releases the current. That discharging current enters the emitter terminal of UJT, and finally UJT is on. So what is the waveform we are getting? Voltage is taken across the capacitor. You can see now the capacitor charging and it is discharging. So this process is continuous, charging and discharging. As a student, we should be explaining when the supply is on, current flows from V plus VBB to RE to capacitor, capacitor to the ground. When capacitor starts discharging, the UJT is turned on. So this is a simple explanation we can provide for this UJT. Now, you are mentioning that UJT generates a pulse signal. So what we have to do with that pulse signal? So UJT pulse signal is applied to the gate terminal of SCR. You can see now the circuit where this circuit shows that we are having the bulb. So what we have to do, we have to control the brightness of the bulb. Okay, in order to control the brightness of the bulb, or if motor is placed, in order to control the speed of the motor, we place the SCR. SCR controls the brightness of the bulb, but SCR will be turned on when we are applying the gate pulse, when we are applying the pulse signal to the gate terminal. How to generate that pulse signal? We use the UJT, just now what we have discussed. So when the supply is on, pulse signal is generated by the UJT, that pulse signal is given to the SCR, then the brightness of the bulb is controlled. You can have a look at this one. you can see first here you start. Supply is on, current flows through the capacitor, capacitor charges, discharge UJT is on, now pulse signal is generated. It is applied to the SCR. SCR controls the brightness of the bulb. So in any industry, if you are placing the SCR gate terminal should be on. Gate terminal is turned on only with the help of the pulse signal. This is what the explanation. So theoretical explanation I'll provide you, but you see the class, the online graphical explanation. How does the current flow? In what way UJT is used? So UJT generates the square wave, which in turn is applied to the gate terminal of the SCR, and then SCR is turned on. This is the basic we are supposed to take it. So today's class we take it on the UJT. Now you just move to the next concept, which is highlighted in the syllabus. Let me share the syllabus copy. So in the syllabus, if you see UJT as a trigger source, it is nothing but UJT acting as a relaxation oscillator. So we got the power MOSFET. So let us go back to this one. Let us try to finish the MOSFET part. So which transistor, this is the symbol of the MOSFET, we can get that one. Which transistor is used in all the computers, in all the smartphones? Okay, smartphone, you can see this animation here. It is MOSFET, not BJT, metal oxide. It is unit transistor, the single charge carriers. Inside that motherboard, if you see, you got billions of transistors. Which transistors are placed? It is nothing but metal oxide field effect semiconductor transistor. So this MOSFET contains 3 terminals: source, drain, and gate. So this is a simple animation. We want to show you what exactly present inside the motherboard of the computer, CPU. This is a CPU processor. If you just split the CPU processor, CPU is made up of billions of transistor. Which transistor? It is 100% MOSFET, because the speed of the time taken to turn on and off is very fast for the MOSFET when compared with any other transistor. So how it is manufactured? We are supposed to discuss the working principle. MOSFET, N-channel MOSFET, enhancement mode and depletion mode are present. We are discussing the enhancement mode here. So how to manufacture this particular MOSFET? So this is what we see, right? MOSFET practically contains N-channel, that P-type. That means first we must take one P-type semiconductor where the majority charge carriers are holes and minority charge carriers are electron. A P-type semiconducting material is taken on which at both the ends N-type semiconducting materials are diffused at both the ends, only the smaller region. So to this N-type materials, we are placing silicon dioxide material as an insulator. And then this black color animation indicates it is the metal contacts. We require metal contacts to connect the 2 layers. So what are the terminals of MOSFET? Source, gate, and drain. So remember, what is the definition of the source? Source terminal is used to create the movement of electrons. Source terminal is not present, you will never expect the movement of electrons. Source terminal is used to create the movement of electrons. Drain terminal is used to attract the flow of electrons. So this is the most important thing. What is the use of the drain? Drain is always used to attract the flow of electrons. This is enhancement mode, N-channel. N-channel means always source is connected to negative and drain is connected to positive, where the gate, which terminal we'll see here. So what is the explanation? How does the MOSFET works here? So first, P-type semiconductor material is taken on which at both the ends N-type material is diffused. Right. So now we are giving the supply to the drain as well as the source. Source is connected to negative, drain is connected to positive. So can we expect the movement of the electrons? No. Electrons cannot move from source to drain because between the source and drain we got the P-type layer. So in order to make the electrons completely to move from one region to another region, from source to drain, if electrons are moving from source to drain, then only the MOSFET is on. Okay, but here electrons are unable to move because here we got one particular barrier. So how we are supposed to make the electrons to move from one place to another place? Again, you connect positive terminal to the gate. If the gate is biased with positive terminal, then an inversion layer is created. So gate terminal is connected to the positive supply, which creates the inversion layer. What is inversion layer? See, gate is connected to the positive terminal. We got gate is also connected to the p-type layer. P-type layer contains majority charge carriers holes, minority charge carriers electrons. When gate is connected to the positive terminal, all the electrons are attracted towards the gate and they form a layer called the inversion layer. The layer which is created because of minority charge carriers in a p-type, that layer is called the inversion layer, and all the holes are repelled or moved away from the gate terminal. So you can see here, inversion layer is created when the gate terminal is connected to the positive terminal. So immediately, because of this inversion layer, now the electrons, they move from source to drain. In this way, the MOSFET is turned on. So our explanation how the MOSFET is turned on. So once again, yes, we got time less than 1 minute. We continue this MOSFET in the next class. So let me take the attendance one screenshot I am going to take. All participants. Okay, any questions, anyone? You can unmute yourself. You can ask any question. Next class we continue the MOSFET and we take the fully controlled rectifier. So don't miss the next class. Next class onwards we are going to start how the current flows, what exactly the power electronics subject. The first two classes we have just taken only the introduction to the SCR, MOSFET and the UJT. So only 30 seconds left. Any student, any question, you can put it in the chat box. Let me check the chat box. Sir, it's